Hi, my name is Clarissa. This is my first booktube video and welcome to my book haul. So I got back into reading in a big way last year when I read the Red Rising books by Piers Brown, and this month I decided to go a little bit overboard in terms of the books. I've got like a huge stack here. My desk is like really far down and I get up to here, and the bookshelf behind me is like basically half empty because I've taken half them off. So without further ado, let's get into the video. I apologise if I sound really nasally throughout this video. I do have a cold and yeah, I apologise. I buy a lot of my books from the UK store Waterstones, and the first two I got were because I have a card which is if you spend £10 you get a stamp, and you get 10 stamps you get like £10 off. So these are the first two I got because I got £10 off, which is Steelheart and Elantris by Brandon Sanderson. I've read 4 books now by Brandon Sanderson, the first 3 of the Mistborn series and Warbreaker, and these are 2 that I want to get to. This is the first book he wrote, Elantris, Brandon Sanderson. He has such a beautiful way of storytelling, so I wanted to kind of go back to his roots. All I know about this one is that it's his first book, and there's a princess involved. I'm not going to go into too much detail with all these books because I do have a lot of books here. Actually, I haven't counted. Hang on. I have 14 books to get through, so I'm not going to go over that much of a synopsis. Basically, it's his first book about princess. It's quite chunky, and yes. And this one is about people with superpowers, I believe, and people call them epics. And they're no friend of man. And it sounds quite interesting. It seems to be this fight between normal people and epics. This one I believe is more YA based than his other books, Brandon Sanderson, but I do really enjoy his books, so. And the reason why I bought a lot of books this month is because my local Waterstones was having a sale, a clearance sale, because they sometimes do. I don't know why, but I bought Red Rising by Piers Brown for £3. Now it's the UK edition. I do have the American one, so it doesn't have this beautiful spine, but I thought I'd pick it up because it was £3. My mum was looking at me and going, no, you've already bought enough books. Little did she know it would get worse from this month forward. But that's my next purchase. It's about this guy called Darrow who is a red, and there's this class system in which the golds are at the top and the reds are at the bottom, and he kind of goes undercover as a gold to take down the system. It's such a good series, one of my favourites of all time, so this is my 3rd copy now of Red Rising. I'm a bit obsessed. And I've just realised one of the books isn't here. I still had it on my shelf. The next one is The Power by Naomi, Alderman. This has won a lot of awards and it's basically about women who have powers and men don't. So basically the women are in control. I have heard this has like quite scenes. Apparently there's a scene of rape in here. I'm not entirely sure, but if you are someone who doesn't want to read that sort of stuff, I wouldn't recommend it. I haven't read it yet, but apparently it does. I could be not telling the truth for that, but picked it up because it's fun and get one half price. I keep all my stickers on my books, so you will see the sticker quite a lot. And the next one I picked up with it was The Blood Mirror by Brent. This is the 4th in the Lightbringer series. I've read the first one. I really enjoyed it. It's basically caught this guy. I'm so tongue-tied today and I'm speaking so fast because I can see my battery's about to run out, so I'm like, quick, I've got so many books to get through. It's about this guy called Gavin who's the most powerful man in the land, and he discovers he has a son, and it's basically the first book is about him finding his son, and there's some other mysteries that are kind of revealed throughout the book. I really enjoyed the first one. I just thought it kind of needed more action in it. I thought it was a bit boring at times, but I picked up the 4th one, so I'm hoping to get through the rest of the series. And along with those I bought Way of Shadows by Brent as well. It was £3. It's the first in his Night Angel trilogy. It's about an assassin. I don't really know more than that apart from some people prefer this than his Lightbringer series, and it was the first one, so I was like, you know what, I might as well pick it up and see what it's like. The other book I picked up is Shadowheart by Tad Williams at that point, and it's £3. It's the last in the series, so this might have not been the best one to pick up for £3. But I've heard a lot about Tad Williams. Apparently this isn't his best series. I don't want to go into detail of this one because I have a feeling the synopsis is spoilers, but the first one of this one I believe is Shadow March, and these are very chunky books as well, and yeah, that's another epic fantasy there. And then I was in town another day and I found Sherlock Holmes for £1. This is a really beautiful edition. I love the BBC adaptation of Sherlock, but I have not read the books. All the stories, I believe they're like short stories or something. But I picked this up, £1, a steal, really lovely edition, so that's add to my collection. And I went to a few charity shops this month. I got these in Bernardo's Books in St Andrews because I was there for a wedding, and we went book shopping the next day. First one is American Gods. I got this for I think £3? Yeah, £3. I've tried to read the audiobook. I didn't really get on with it, so I'm thinking maybe the paper copy will be better for me. I haven't watched the Amazon series yet, but I want to, so this is why I picked it up. And it's the American edition, I believe, so it's like really floppy paperback, which I love floppy paperbacks. So this is basically about a guy whose wife has just died, and he discovers there are gods. That's all the synopsis you're gonna get. Sorry, I got a cold. And the next one is like really bizarre because it wasn't the biggest shop in the world. Sci-fi fantasy section is always tiny. And I found this. This was the only one in the series, and it is Golden Sun by Pierce Brown. It is a hardback edition. It was only £4. It is the American one, so it doesn't have the beautiful spine that the British hardbacks do. It's the only one I don't have in hardback. So I was like, you know what, for £4 I'm going to pick it up because I do have the first one and third one and the British ones, so they have the spine like the one I showed you earlier. Yeah, this is the second in the Red Rising trilogy. This one's more Battlestar Galactica kind of inspired. The first one's more Hunger Games inspired, and yeah, you need to pick up these books, these are so good. Right, the next books I picked up, I'm nearly there, is Nevernight. I got this for buy one get one half price. Hang on, I need to shuffle some books around because I'm holding two for some bizarre reason. This one is by Jay Kristoff. It's actually, I don't think I've said what every book is by. I'll leave like who they're by and everything down below. And this is about an assassin or something. I don't know, I've heard a lot about this. I've read his Illuminate series with Amy Kaufman. But this one's been getting a lot of press recently because the second one's about to come out, and I want to try and read it before the second one comes out. I'm very behind in my reading and I've just bought a bunch of books, so maybe not, but it's about an assassin, a girl called Mia who's 10 years old. At least in the blurb she's 10 years old. All I know is that she must become a weapon without equal. Yes. And the next one I got with this buy one get one half price was Runemarks by Joanne Harris, so I've got like an itch. I kept seeing this everywhere, and like the hardbacks just come out for the second one. I believe there's like, or technically the third one, there's another book. These have been rebranded because I did see this in the charity shop when I bought those two other books, American Gods and Golden Sun, and I kind of was looking at it and the cover wasn't very nice, and that's all this, I was like, I'll just buy it because of this cover. It's about Loki, the trickster, is involved in this, and because the cover's so beautiful and it was in this deal and I was to get Nevernight, I decided to buy it. So that's another one. Nearly there. 3 more. This one I bought at the book festival. I was really annoyed because I missed him signing, although my cousin's wedding was on that day, so I couldn't have gone anyway. And I got Night Shadow by Sebastien de Castell because I live near Edinburgh, so the book festival has been on. It finished the other day. And it was really annoying because there were signed copies of the first book. I already owned the first book. I was like, ugh. And there was like Spill Singer or his other book that I didn't really fancy, so I just picked up this non-signed version of Night Shadow, which is the second in the Traitor's Blade series. It's very inspired by the Musketeers, I think. When I read the back of it, I was like, this sounds like Musketeers, and I love the BBC adaptation of it. So this sounds very like it, in which they're kind of they've been thrown out the guard, I believe, and they're kind of now bodyguards to this man that gets murdered, and they kind of have to restore their reputation. And I think that's the idea of it. I could be completely off. This is the issue with book hauls. You get everything from the synopsis and it can be completely different from the synopsis. But we're to the last books, so I might last with this battery. I keep them to the side because I'm like, please battery, please last. So I got these two from Waterstone the other day. And the first one I picked up is Assassin's Apprentice by Rob and Hobb, because this series is a big favourite with fantasy fans, and I kind of wanted to pick it up because I fancied reading a bit of Rob and Hobb. This is her most famous series. This is the one I always see, the Assassin series, and it's basically about the son of a king, Ross's son, who is called Fitz, and he becomes an assassin. I seem to get a lot of assassin books this month. I don't know why. I'm not a big assassin fan, but another assassin book. And the last one, oh please don't topple over, the stack next to me is looking a bit. The next one I got is Sabriel by Garth Nix. I've heard a lot of this series. I kept seeing booktubers talking about this series, so I thought, you know what, I'll pick this up. So this is the first, and it's about a daughter of a mage, and yes, I've realised I haven't given much synopsis to all these books, so I apologise. It's because I'm trying to get through them all so quickly before my battery goes. But that is basically the end of it. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 books this month. That is probably more than I've ever bought in like half a year. A lot of these were sale, a lot of these were sale or charity shop books, but at the same time I did splurge on normal ones because I got these two like full price. They weren't in any offer in Waterstones, but I do like supporting my local bookshop because it is the biggest in the UK, and I don't want it to go bust because we have like no other bookshops because Borders is gone, and this looks like it's about to topple. I'm just gonna like put my hand on it. So thank you for watching this. I'm sorry if this is a bit like all over the joint. This is my first video and I kind of wanted to show off the books I bought this month because I never buy a lot of books. I tend to only buy 2 or 3 a month. This is quite a stretch, 15 books, so I've enjoyed, and as well I am a big fantasy sci-fi reader. That tends to be what I read, so that's why it's basically all sci-fi fantasy. I didn't really give a background about myself. I've read a lot of epic fantasy books. I love really long Renaissance books. And yeah, I'll try and do like a wrap of what I've been reading, but I've been in a bit of a reading slump at the moment, so we'll see what happens. But thank you for watching this, I appreciate it. Leave a comment down below what you've been reading, whether you've read any of these books and you're like, oh they're good, or oh they're not very good. But thank you, and I'll see you next time. Bye!